Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Let's quickly do the topic of affinity and consanguinity. This is very important for all those law students who are preparing for judiciary exams, and this is included in your family law portion. So what is affinity? Affinity is the relation of two persons through a marriage tie. They are belonging to different families. They are having different blood. There is no blood relationship in affinity. Blood relationship is known as consanguinity, that we will be doing afterwards. And affinity, there is no same blood between the two persons. They belong to different families. Had they belong to same family, then they will be having the same blood. But here the two persons are belonging to different families. For example, a husband and wife. So a husband belongs to a different family, a wife belongs to a different family. They are having different blood relationship. Now they are affinity. This is the tie of affinity. Husband may be having different relations, his own relations. There may be many relatives of the wife. They are also related to each other. Husband's relatives and wife's relatives are related to each other through the tie of affinity because they have no common blood. So affinity is the tie between two persons which arises from marriage between a male and a female. So due to such marriage, the husband has a relation with his wife's father. He calls him as father-in-law. Due to this relation, the husband has a relation with his wife's brother, and he calls him brother-in-law. He also has a relation with his wife's sister through affinity, and he calls her sister-in-law. He also has a relation with his wife's mother, and he calls her mother-in-law. So all these are related to husband. All these persons, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, they are related to husband of the wife through affinity. He calls them so. Now similarly, as above, due to such marriage, the wife also has a relation with her husband's father, and she calls him father-in-law. Very correct. She also has a relation through affinity with her husband's mother, and she calls her mother-in-law. Through affinity, the wife also has a relation with her husband's brother, and she calls him brother-in-law. In Hindi or Punjabi, she calls him Jetji or Devar. So basically in English, this is a simple one word for both Jetji and Devar, that's brother-in-law. So through affinity, the wife also has a relation with her husband's sister, and she calls her sister-in-law. In Punjabi or Hindi, she calls her nanad, nand. So affinity is basically a relationship between persons of different blood, which is created through marriage between husband, a male, and a female, husband and wife. So this was affinity. It was very easy. Now let's do consanguinity. As I've already told you, consanguinity is the connection or relation of persons descendant from the common ancestor. So these are those persons who have a common ancestor. So basically they belong to a same family. You must have heard of the name joint family in Hindu law. So consanguinity, consanguines. So the persons who belong to same family, they have a common ancestor. There must have been a single common ancestor to all these persons. So they are having a common blood. In affinity, they are not having common blood. They belong to different families. But here in consanguinity, these persons are having common blood. Usually and generally, the co-partners in the Hindu joint family, the co-partners in the Hindu joint family, जिनको हम हिंदी में शरीक भी बोल देते हैं, पंजाबी में शरीक, भाई बहन चाचा ताया. तो these all these persons, चाचा ताया भाई बहन, these all are basically a part of a joint family. They are having the same blood. Even Bhua is also having the same blood. So they are all consanguines of each other. They are related by consanguinity. So partners, their sons, their daughters, all the cousins, all are related to each other by consanguinity. So consanguinity basically is of two types. There is a collateral consanguinity, then there is a lineal consanguinity. This is very important. Lineal consanguinity is very easy. I think you know this consanguinity. What is linear consanguinity? Lineal consanguinity means all persons who are descended from a common ancestor by a direct ascending line. There's a one line, direct ascending line. It's very easy. Just take note of. For example, your father, your father's father, your father, your father's father. Your father's father means your grandfather, and even your father's father's father, that is your great grandfather. You all come in a single line, direct ascending line from you, your father, your grandfather, and your great grandfather. So this is known as lineal consanguinity. I've tried to make it very simple. Now comes collateral consanguinity. Now what is that? All persons who are descended from a common ancestor. Now they are also having a common ancestor, but the point of difference is this: they are not in a direct same line as you and your father and your father's father. They belong to different stock. Like your uncle. What is your uncle? Your chacha or your taya? Your chacha or taya must be having a same common ancestor. Your dada is a common ancestor for you and your chacha and taya. But they are not in your direct ascending line. They are from a different line from your ancestor. So they are collaterals of you. So your uncle, your chacha, taya, their sons, that is your cousins, so they are collaterally related to you, and this is known as collateral consanguinity. So I hope you understood the difference between affinity and consanguinity. I hope you like the lecture. Thank you very much.